All right, here we are at Soul Connections on the second floor because we're cool. I'm with Cassidy. I met her at the park today. She's lots of fun.
Yay.
And she has a message for you. What's going on?
What is going on?
I don't know.
You know, the message is that really nothing's going on. But this is the divine play. So
Are you an actor or are you the scriptwriter?
we're all actors in this play, at least a majority of us that have found ourselves in these human bodies. However, we're also one with the director of the play. So when we get out of thinking and the logical mind, we become one with the divine direction. And so when we pray every day to just be that divine instrument, make me your instrument, then everything flows. And when we do this in tandem with practicing meditation, stilling the mind, clearing our energies, nature, and cold plunges. We did a very cold plunge today.
That was great.
Then we can tune into these frequencies and we can live a life in divine joy. So, that doesn't mean that everything is sunshine and roses all the time. It does mean that we can respond, we are able to respond to any situation. And as a result, everything becomes joyful, even when it's challenging.
So what about challenges? Were there any challenges that led you to this path?
Oh, many.
Was this something like, did you grow up in a family that was into like all these things, or was it something that you
Not at all.
You fell into it?
No
or
religion, no spirituality. I grew up in white bread, USA, a very affluent suburb of Chicago.
Did your mom cut the crust off the toast on your peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I didn't really eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but my friends' parents definitely did that. I basically grew up in the movie Mean Girls.
No way, you?
It was filmed at a neighboring high school.
Mean Girls don't wear those pants, look.
Mean Girls do not wear these pants. So
Sorry, go ahead.
It's pretty funny. I actually said to my dad over the holidays, I was with him, and I was like, yeah, I used to be pretty mean. And he was like, yeah. But that's the best reference that I can give because, I didn't grow up with any major traumas. I had everything I needed. And I used to look back and say, wow, I had a happy childhood. Like nothing went wrong, Your
dad loved you.
Well, we have a good relationship now. I didn't think that was going to happen. But, it's when you're in your divine truth and you're coming from a place of love. If somebody really loves you unconditionally, they will see that, they will feel that, and they will accept you as you are. So I'm grateful that I have a father like that.
Was that something that, never mind. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
What were some, and there are challenges. I don't want to make you feel like I'm trying to like corner you into whatever.
No, I was about to go there.
So it sounds like maybe family was part of some of the challenges that led you to
Oh,
this,
absolutely. Yeah. So, I grew up on this 8-acre piece of land, playing outside, allowed to, do my thing, imagination, run around, all this stuff. Great. Again, amazing looking childhood from the outside. However, my parents basically were in a loveless marriage, never displayed affection or never yelled at each other, and basically approached us when I was like 11 years old with no warning. And they were like, we're getting divorced. And, ever since then, now looking back on it, and for many years looking back on it, I've known that I actually didn't even know either my parents before that. And I also they didn't know me, and as a result I didn't know myself. I abandoned myself.
Wow.
Right? So part of the core wounding pattern that I was experiencing was shame of being who I really am, because my parents couldn't hold it. I was a very sensitive being, and so
they couldn't hold space for it, you mean, or what?
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with this. They didn't have any spiritual practices of any kind, any mindfulness around how sensitive we actually are. So yeah, I grew up then in this Mean Girls environment, and it was a defense mechanism to be mean, to you know, just go with that flow, and to kind of like armor up the heart, armor up the emotions, like just, yeah. And it resulted in, I had a lot of back pain, neck pain. And yeah, just a lot of like, I couldn't control my emotions. I'd get really emotional, like either just like cry or get really angry or whatever, these kind of things.
So emotional regulation issues.
Yeah, and then I became a physical therapist, and that didn't help my back pain, my neck pain, or my emotional issues. It was a great field. I loved it.
Were you taking on their energy maybe, or you're probably sensitive?
No, I think it was like this was God and Guru's plan for me, you know, and because I became a physical therapist, and I had a teacher right at the end of physical therapy school giving me my final exam, and she was like, I know you're not just going to do physical therapy, and I can't wait to see what you actually do. And because she said that to me, I was actually able to walk away from 8 years of schooling. And thank the heavens that I didn't have student loans. Thank my affluent upbringing, the family that I was born into on purpose, because I do believe every little detail is God's divine plan. And it's what we do with it, you know? So I walked away from that, kind of started my healing journey, moved to Vancouver, British Columbia, and I lived with my mom there. I worked with an amazing healer that I kind of mentored me, and also a network spinal chiropractor.
Wow.
And that was actually kind of the game changer. I worked with him. I ended up living in the house. We worked on the top floor. And yeah, I had my own healing practice. And
how long ago?
That started like 6 years ago.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm
You don't have to say your
almost 34.
No way.
Yeah. I'm in my Jesus year here, okay? 33.
Yeah,
So,
true. No way. Wow.
Jesus and Lahiri Mahashaya, another guru in our guru lineage, at Ananda Church of Self-Realization. And Lahiri was actually initiated into the technique of Kriya Yoga at 33 and had all these like revelations of that he's actually a guru. But it wasn't until he was 33. He had to go through his whole life and live a normal life. And then suddenly he's awakened into this divine, you know, that everything's a divine play, and that he is actually a God-realized master at age 33. So
wow.
It's been a really big year, 33. And I also got initiated into Kriya Yoga last July, right before my 33rd year. And, you know, like, it's interesting because I'd say, you know, most people from my high school, like, Mean Girls style, you know, they all hang out together.
Still?
They drink.
Still?
Yeah, like in the city of Chicago, they go out, they party, they do these things, and it's all numbing behavior.
I bet all my friends are doing that back in high school. Oh
I was
gosh.
numbing too for many years, you know. Everything's numbing, right? Smoking cannabis was one of my big things. Like
Yeah, me
watching
too.
television, food, whatever. Like everyone has their different sex numbing strategies. And I realized I was doing all these things. I guess the thing that was different was I realized that I wasn't willing to keep doing them. And I, you know, was willing to give up everything to find joy in life. And yeah, I really feel like that's what brought me on this path and led me to this healing journey, and, you know, led me to away from medicine, but to use my medical background to integrate that with healing work. So yeah, I've ended up doing a lot of my own personal healing in order to facilitate that space for others. And you know what I realized though is I'm doing nothing. I'm just the channel, right? Step out of the way, there is no Cassidy.
So what are you channeling?
Sounds, breath work, words from the divine. Yeah, I definitely have stepped into like singing, toning, and I do have a lot of healing physical techniques that I've learned with aromatherapy and body work and things like that. I don't think about them when I'm in that space. I just pray and offer myself up and let whatever happens happen. And one thing that I'm channeling right now that I love, as I told you, is giving love through food and just through presence, right? I'm there, I'm cooking the food with love, I'm chanting, intuitively using spices and herbs from the garden, and then I get to bring the food out, pray over the food with the group in a beautiful song, and then just like watch people enjoy it.
Wow.
And it's a great practice because I'm taken out of it. Like, yeah, they're like, oh, Cassidy, we liked that, whatever. But it's like, I just, I get to kind of like go into the background and just see how that's a medicine as well. Food is a medicine.
Yeah.
Like, and it's been a medicine for me too. Like, I've healed my body with a lot of conscious food choices, let's say.
Eat your food as medicine, or else you'll have to eat your medicine as food.
Exactly.
That was on a pho restaurant in Honolulu. I liked it.
I've heard that one before, and it's so true. Like the powers that be definitely aren't supporting us in having healthy bodies and minds.
Well,
and
then
so
they
it's
can charge
our
us to destroy it.
responsibility. Yeah.
And they can charge us to fix it.
Exactly. But it's our responsibility. If you start loving your body and treating your body well, you will start treating the planet well as well.
Yeah.
And you will get into sync with the lunar cycles, with the seasons, with everything. And yeah, it's really fun how it's like magnetized. I had a dream about like being at like some kind of like retreat center or something where I was like on the land, and there were like fruit trees, and there were like kids playing, and I was like in the kitchen and like, like kind of directing things. And now like it's not the exact vision I had, because we don't actually know what's going to happen. You have a dream, you have an insight, you have a download. That's your intuition in that moment only. But if it's something that feels good and is in alignment with you, you can magnetize that if you believe you can, and if it's for the highest benevolence, right? So I now like live and work at a retreat center in a kitchen. I get to go out to the garden and pick herbs. I get to pick apricots off the tree. And
I love how excited you get.
Like, it's so beautiful, like that's medicine. That's how we're meant to live, right? In tandem with the land. And I feel like we make it so hard, like in our minds, because like, oh, well, I have to start a community and I have to get land and I have to do this thing. And it's like, you don't have to do those things to be able to do this. We had a guest who's at my retreat center, but she's in seclusion, sent me to her land to go harvest her greens and cucumbers and help with the trees there. And I'm like, okay. And when I get back, there's going to be an abundance of fruit for us all to share. So, okay. It's just, how can I serve? That's probably the biggest question I ask every day when I do my sadhana. God, make me your instrument. How can I serve you today?
What type of impact do you want your service to have on the world?
I just pray that we all can feel this joy. God's perfect joy that is ever conscious and ever new. Kachitananda. Oh, Mom. That's all I have to say.
Dude, any final words of advice, or is that it? You want to end it then now? Any messages or any? You're at Mount Shasta for the first time. I'm talking about Mount Shasta.
I'm at Mount Shasta for the first time.
It's right there. You can't see it. It's right there.
That's on your video. I would just say, open your heart is probably the biggest message I have. Drop from the mind into the heart and see what's possible, because everyone I see their highest timeline, and I believe that whatever they truly desire is possible if it's in alignment with the divine will. So open your heart.
Yeah.
Let in whatever you connect with, Pachamama, Earth Mother, animal spirit guides, whatever God is to you, right? A master or masters, and see if you can see what is behind those representations of God, because God is everywhere and everything and every one of us.
Yeah.
And we're here to love and to remember that we are divine love.
That's a perfect note to end it.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cassidy.